Most spiritual entrepreneurs, healers, coaches, guides, service-based business owners believe that the only way that they can hit six figures is by working 50 plus hours a week. And that's by design because you've probably been used to working that much in your job or your career. And so you believe that if you want to have it, even that same level of success, you're going to have to go at least as hard, if not harder, to do so in your own business. And this is a lie. It's not actually true, because what if I told you that you could make six figures easily working 20 hours a week? I'm being so serious. I used to not think this was possible. Now I've seen it with through my own experience. What I've learned is that if hard work alone were enough to guarantee success, okay, housekeepers, teachers, janitors, farmers would be billionaires. They would be bazillionaires. Do you know how hard they work? Oh my God, they work so much harder than I do. And it's not that the work that they do isn't valuable. It's just that the type of work they're doing and the things they are working on, they're getting paid equal to the value of those activities because they're actually creating on the lowest level of value. We'll have to talk about that in a different video. Now, in this video, I'm going to share with you 4 myths that are perpetuating this toxic hustle culture that we're going to break, because what I found is that a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs, pretty much all of them, have some kind of limiting belief or limiting mindset around money, that somehow being spiritual and wealthy don't go together. So we're going to break those. And then I'm going to give you 3 tips, 3 ways to scale to 6 figures working 20 hours a week. In fact, I work 6 to 10 hours a week most weeks. And this actually all started last year when I read the book by Darren Hardy, 10x is easier than 2x. It actually scared the shit out of me at the time because I realized how many things I was doing that really were keeping me stuck. But we'll get to that in a second. So growing up in the States, in America, there's a lot of great things about that culture. But now that I have moved to Croatia, it's really started to pull back the veil on what I believe to be true about entrepreneurship, work-life balance, what life was about, and what really brings me enjoyment. The United States, it's very individualistic, very enterprising. And I'm grateful that I grew up there because I feel like it gave me a very entrepreneurial mindset. It's a really good place to start a business. And you're able to see, or there's at least this myth of the American dream that if you just work hard enough, then you'll be successful. And that I don't believe is true anymore. Now that I'm in Croatia, I've pulled my hours back and have been making more than I ever did there. I used to hustle my ass off for a 10K month. I was working so hard and I hit it like one time, but I couldn't replicate it. So I don't really care if you can have 10K month. I care how hard you're working to get there, and is it sustainable? Can you repeat it? Is it repeatable? That's where the real magic happens, because we all know that 10K isn't really even enough anymore. Let's just be honest. So yeah, let me give you the 3 shifts that I made to hit 6 figures working 20 hours a week, sometimes closer to 5 or 10. What I can say is if you are working 40, 50 hours a week and you're making less than $5,000 a month, we have some serious problems. And this is just very top of mind for me because I've been onboarding a lot of new people. I'm doing this 5-day 10K offer challenge. So I'm getting to talk with a lot of people and uncover where they are in their businesses. And it's like truly astounding to me sometimes when I realize all of the things that they're doing. And it really branches, I believe the number one thing is coming from it's limiting belief of I'm not good enough, or I'm not valuable. What I do isn't that valuable, or it's not possible for me. So you end up charging by the hour instead of by the transformation. But we're going to get to that more in just a second. This really isn't about living some laptop lifestyle. I don't want you, yes, I'm on a digital nomad visa here in Croatia, but that's not, I don't want you to have to carry your laptop with you everywhere so you can just like work from a beautiful place. It's about actually being able to enjoy the life that you have from anywhere in the world. It's not about being able to work anywhere you want. It's about being able to be in charge of your income, work with clients who you genuinely love to serve, that's you have an offer that you're confident in, that you love to sell and is easy to deliver on. And like I said, this all branched back when I read this book, 10x is easier than 2x last year. It was really scary for me. Honestly, I couldn't even get through the whole book because I felt like I was never going to be able to scale. I felt like I was always being pulled in a million different directions. There were always so many things to do, and I felt that everything was competing for my attention, that if I didn't do it, then who was going to do it? And everything I was doing is just so important. That's what I thought. And there's some truth to this. I do believe even when you're at the very beginning of your business and you're just starting out, you're really kind of learning your style, what works for you, the things that are important. But then the benefits of having a coach or mentors or people who have gone before you is now I can look back and I can tell you which of those key levers I pulled to give me the results I have today. And so now you can just like shortcut the process. You don't have to go through everything I did. That's my intention today. Most spiritual entrepreneurs, they are severely overworked and underpaid. You trade a job where you're in a career making, let's say, $80,000, $100,000 a year where you have one boss for now having 50 bosses who are even more demanding in the form of clients because you haven't really figured out how to price and sell your offer accordingly. That's at the heart of it. Or you haven't done the math on your business model. But we're going to solve that here today. So the first myth is this. It's this busy as some kind of badge of honor. And I think a lot of it comes from the Puritan mindset. Like there's something beautiful about if you want something, you can go out there and work for it and make it happen. And it's a very ingrained part of American culture. But like we said, working hard does not guarantee success. If you're working really, really hard, but on the wrong things, you're just going to end up exhausted and bitter and broke and burnt out. And we don't have time for that. You can work as hard as you want, but if that's like literally the definition of insanity. If the things that you're already doing are not getting you the results that you're looking for and you just continue to do more of them, do you think that the result is going to be different? Let me give you an example. I was talking to this woman last week and she has to create 4 pieces of content on TikTok every single day to get 10 30-minute calls on her calendar each week to make $1,000 a week, less than $1,000 a week. One time. That means every single week, every month, she needs 40 new calls on her calendar. Those people pay for a 30-minute session. And in return, she's constantly having to bring in new leads. And now there's nothing wrong with bringing new leads into your business, but you have to understand what the different platforms are good for and how to monetize those leads once they're in your business. That's a broken model, in my opinion. I mean, if it's working for you, if that's enough for you, if you want to hustle your ass off for $930 a week, and that's enough for you, and that's sustainable, then be my guest. But I'm guessing it's not. That's why we're here. I also got a good insight to this when I was in Alex Hormozi's mastermind last year, the Skool 100, that he's a smart man. He's got a lot to offer when it comes to the business realm. And I was in there with some real heavy hitters who it really inspired me to become a better version of myself because I am a little bit competitive. And when I joined, there was like 5,000 people that applied for this thing. Only 100 got in. So I really felt like I had to prove myself. And when I got in, I was number 98 in terms of monthly recurring revenue. And when I finished, I was at number 48. And can you imagine the pressure I felt like I was under to work so hard every day? Like they wanted us to do 100 comments, 100 DMs, 100 minutes of content every single day. That's not sustainable for your 4-6 self-projected projector. It's just not. Again, if that's sustainable for you, continue forth and conquer, my friend. You're a better woman than me. The second myth is that you need a huge team. You think you need like all of these people working under you in order to be successful, when in reality, it's so much easier now to have a business. Like I have an editor, he also does my thumbnails, and I've had a VA before. I might bring a new one on again, but you really don't need a huge team. And then the third one is like that you think you need investors, or like it's this huge sum of capital in order to be successful. And like now with the online education industry base, the coaching space that we have now, especially using Skool, my business overhead is less than $150 a month. So you don't need any of those things. And then the fourth one, I wouldn't know if this is a myth, but that don't start your business to make money. I know that sounds crazy, right? Start your business to provide a service to humanity. The money will naturally follow. Wealth isn't financial. Wealth is spiritual, and poverty is always the result of spiritual warfare. And if you're starting a business with selfish intentions to make money, I just want to get paid, you're always going to keep yourself stuck on this hamster wheel of needing more clients, more leads, more sales, more, because you set yourself up for failure from the beginning. When you show up with the intention to innovate, to serve, when you obsess over your customers, your clients' problems more than they do, that's when the money comes. Money is only an indicator of value provided for somebody other than yourself. So I'm just saying, catch your intentions. Don't go into the business, be like, I just want to be at 10K months tomorrow. If you just started, like that's pretty unlikely. And then you're going to be measuring your success against this unrealistic bar, comparing where you are to where other people are and believing that they're somehow better than you or have figured something else out, when in reality most of these people have just been doing it longer than you, or they are older than you. Building a business takes time, and if you're rushing into it to make a return on investment like yesterday, you're going to be very, very disappointed. So just check your expectations and do the math from the get-go so that you know that you're moving forward with a model that's actually going to help you reach your goals. Okay, so those are my myths. Now let me give you the 3 shifts that I made to hit 6 figures in less than 20 hours a week. Now, these are the only 3 things I know to do to help you be like, these are the only 3. If you have another one, please comment below. But even if you just implement one of these, it will totally take your business off. If you implement all 3, it's fucking game over. It is game over. And let me just let you know right now, I am doing a 5-day one-on-one challenge to build your 10K offer in 5 days. Now, it doesn't have to be a 10K offer. It could be 5, it could be 20. The number doesn't matter, but I'm going to work with you one-on-one for 5 days to put this offer together so that you can hit 10 to 30K months sustainably without a bunch of awkward sales calls, chasing down leads, complicated funnels, or endless hustling in the hamster wheel just to churn and burn clients every month. That's not what we want to do. Okay, so if you're interested in that, I only take 2 people a week. The link below is to sign up. Let's get into it. Number 1, which we've touched on earlier, the 80-20 rule. This is so simple, and it seems too simple, but the truth is 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. Now, if you're a coach, which you're here because you're listening to this, you're probably creating content, editing, posting, responding to comments in the DMs, running your community, maybe doing research. Maybe you're on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. You're doing client success, sales calls, admin, working, behind the scenes in your business. It's a laundry list of tasks that we're responsible for as business owners, and you're probably doing all of them. But if you looked at that list, I challenge you right now, sit down and write down every single thing you do in your business on a daily basis. And then I want you to circle the things that are directly responsible for your profit. I don't care about your revenue. I'm talking about your profit. What do you get to keep? Once more, 80% of your profit come from 20% of your clients. Now, do you see how this myth of doing more it's stupid. It's honestly stupid, because you can continue to do all of those things and you're basically an unpaid, overworked intern in your own business. It's not working. So, this really became I became present to this when I took a week off of my business for the first time ever. Since I started my business, I have never taken an entire week off, but I did because my aunt and uncle were coming to visit us. They were staying with us in Croatia. We did all these fun, like touristy things. We went to Kirka Falls and to some of the islands. It was so much fun. And I made more in my business that week than I had in the whole month before. And it's because I figured out this 80-20 rule. Before, the things that I did is I would create content for TikTok, and then I would, take the caption and download the video, take the caption, post it over to Instagram. I was making YouTube videos, I was editing, I was making the thumbnails, I was doing my sales calls, creating like courses, content, managing my school, all of these things. I was doing all these things, content creation. That was huge. And I've known this from the beginning, but I couldn't figure it out, is that YouTube is the best platform for conversion. Because the people that come from YouTube, that go to YouTube, like you're here right now, are a totally different animal than the people who are on TikTok. Now, some people who are on YouTube might also be on TikTok, but the intention is different there. And moreover, it takes 7 to 11 hours of someone watching you for them to feel like they know, like, and trust you enough to make a purchase decision. Do you know how many TikToks that is versus how many YouTube videos that is? And then also TikTok punishes you for not posting daily, multiple times a day. You almost have to now. YouTube, if your video is good and it provides value, they're going to push it out till the end of time. It's evergreen. And so one of the biggest unlocks for me just in the past few months is like really going on YouTube. That's a perfect example of the 80-20 rule. Now, I'll make TikToks when it's fun, when I'm inspired, but I don't put so much time and effort into it. I just don't. And I have a guy who edits and does my thumbnails, who's amazing, by the way. Number 2, leverage group coaching for success. It is amazing to me how many coaches believe that coaching has to be one-on-one. Like they think that coaching has to be one-on-one. And I love one-on-one coaching. I think it's great. And I still do offer it, but it is not the core of my programs. I include it because I do believe a level of personalization is really helpful in what I do with my clients, but I'm not selling hours here. If you really want to scale to multi-six figures, we have to have some kind of easy delivery model where you have a way to bring in new clients and deliver to them at scale. You are never going to scale on one-on-one coaching alone because there's only so many hours in the day. That is how we start, but it is not how you scale. Scaling isn't actually about doing more, it's about doing less. Everyone thinks scaling, adding things, it's subtraction. We start with the one-on-one and then we pull it back. And I think that in Kabbalah, they talk about this, that you start your coaching business where you're the product, meaning you're selling your time and people are willing to pay a premium on your time because they believe that they're that much more likely to be successful when they're working with you one-on-one. And part of that is true, but it's the biggest shame when you continue being the product forever because you have to find a way to extricate the input of your time from the output of your success, money, prosperity, abundance. And you start with one-on-one, then it goes to group. And then really, if we want to scale, it's about having software, SaaS, tech tools, AI, things that you can make once that provide an ongoing result or value to your clients over time, that are really simple. They help them get where they want to go with less effort. For example, one of the things that I made this year for my clients was a 100K business by design AI. Now, this was a custom AI that I built actually for myself first, and it's trained on my human design, my ideal client, my offer, my brand tone of voice, and all of these things. And then I used it to create like a holistic content system for YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. And I was like, oh shit, this works. And so I now include that template for all of my clients. But what I realized is there's a little bit of a learning curve on how to use this because it's hosted on a platform called Poppy AI, which I think is incredible. But if you haven't used tools like this before, it can be challenging, right? And I've been using this tool for over a year. So it just comes easier to me. And so the next step for my business, what I want to do is use what I've built there to create a chat bot where they literally just type in their question and it comes out with their answer, their content calendar, their next YouTube video, their script, their thumbnail. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's very little input, less input, and then they get the output that they want almost immediately versus having to learn how to use this tool. That's what, and a lot of people think that only one-on-one is valuable, but group, what I've noticed is most of my clients, when I'm working with my clients one-on-one, first of all, and I have like a bunch of one-on-one calls that booked back to back on the same day. After that, I am fucking tired. I am exhausted. It's really hard. And one of the things that makes it hard is you're dedicating 100% of your energy to this person when in reality, most of my clients have the same questions. They're going through the same things. I would say 80% of them have the same 20 questions. And then if you're one-on-one with someone, they don't even always know what to ask because you don't know what you don't know. Whereas in group, I have clients who are generally, in the same space, they're doing similar things. But one might be a little bit further ahead or bring a different skill set or, level of expertise, experience, whatever, wisdom to the table. And so they're asking questions that the other clients haven't thought to ask either because they're not there yet or it's just not in their wheelhouse and vice versa. And so I've actually found that my clients get way better results now that I've added the group program. So now I have a mastermind program that is group and one-on-one. And it has like courses and the AI in there. And so these are just kind of little tips and tricks I've found to be really, really helpful for my clients. It's not about doing the thing that's going to make you the most money necessarily. It's about doing what's best for your clients. And I have seen that group coaching is incredibly valuable for my clients to the point where I have scaled back the one-on-one in my program, steadily over time. And I will continue to do so. And then down the road, I could even hire a coach who can do the one-on-ones for me. That's another thing you can do to still offer one-on-one in your program without it having to be you who delivers on it. All right, number 3, this one's so important. You got to understand pricing psychology and like pricing for transformation, for value versus by like the hour or the delivery. 99% of you are not charging enough. And you might hear this and be like, Amanda, how do you know that that's true? Well, I know because I've been there, I've seen it, and I onboard new clients every single week and they tell me what they're charging. And I'm just like, how are you even supporting yourself? I honestly don't know. And the truth is, like, if you can't support yourself, how are you going to continue doing what you're doing? It's just, it's crazy. And this is what I mean. Like the math doesn't math. If you have a, $497 offer and your goal is 20K months, let me do some girl math. You have to sell 40 people every month. Do you know how much harder it is to sell 40 people than 2 people on a 10K offer? It takes just as much effort to sell a low ticket offer as it does a high ticket offer. And the problem with that is when people who pay attention, and people who pay low ticket, who pay less, they want more and they do less work. So their results are less. And what I've seen, because I've tried all the different models and ways to make money on Skool and coaching. So before I had like a free community and a paid, I had a free to a paid, I had a low ticket, I've sold courses, I've done high ticket, I've done all of the different ways. What the model that I recommend for everybody, it's the easiest to get started with, is called a freemium model, which means it's a free community on the front end, high ticket on the back end, everyone in one place. Let's just make our lives easy. But when I was selling low ticket, it was so much more work to get somebody into a freaking membership. They stay for 3 months, but which, by the way, that's the average across the industry. There's some rock stars on Skool who've gotten their churn, meaning the people who leave every month, down below 5%. But most people, when they don't have somebody holding them accountable, and when they don't have skin in the game, like they're not paying an amount that hurts a little, they are not invested, they're not doing the work, and they're not seeing results. So actually, when you think about it, the price isn't even about you, it's about your clients. And so it's less about, am I worth it? Here's how many hours that are in my program. People are paying, they're paying for the transformation. They don't care how you get them there. They just want the result. And if you think about it, people like they don't even know how good your offer is until they're inside of it. They're paying based on the promise, like the transformation, but what you're actually selling them is the offer. We have to sell them on the offer first. And it's only once they're inside, once they've bought into the offer, that they're actually able to see the results. And so you second guessing yourself, is it worth it? Am I that valuable? Will people pay it? You're already cutting yourself down because you're making it about you. And if your real intention is to serve, we have to understand pricing. Like I said, if you implement even one of these, the 80-20 rule, leveraging group coaching, pricing, putting together high ticket offer pricing based on value and transformation, your business will take off to a whole new level. But if you do all three, you're a rock star, okay? And I now am doing a build your 10K offer in 5 days challenge where I'm working with you one-on-one for 5 days to put together your high ticket offer, and you're going to learn how to sell it, price it, position it, package it. Everything I teach my typical one-on-one, like my mastermind clients, I'm going to go through with you in this. And on day 5, we're going to talk about exactly how to install and launch this offer into your current business model. It does not have to be a 10K offer. If that's just so terrifying to you, we can start at 5. But what I will say is if you're charging 500, 1,000, $2,000, it's not enough. And think about how many people you would need to sell in order to reach your goals. Because at the end of the day, you're doing this to provide a service to humanity. You're here to help facilitate transformation for your clients. You're here to support yourself, and you deserve everything. The fact that you desire 6 figures working 20 hours or less a week means that it's already possible for you. Like there's literally a version of you already doing that. She's already there, or else you wouldn't even desire it. So the fact that you want it means that it's possible. Now you just have to ask yourself, what would she do? How is she showing up in her business? Would she have the courage to do this challenge, raise her prices, stop doing all the busy work, bring on a editor? Seriously, I'm just asking you. So if you're interested in doing that challenge, you can click the link below for all the details and the sign up link. Like I said, I only do 2 of them a week, and I don't do them every week out of the month, but you'll be able to see what the availability is once. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah.